So not only you look at the profitability from the perspective of sales, but you look at the profitability also from the perspective of lenders and also investors and also shareholders. So basically, you also look at the profitability from the perspective of capital providers. That means the people who have given you capital. So look at the profitability from their perspective. And again, I'm repeating once again because whether you're doing futuristic financial analysis or you're doing historical financial analysis, doesn't really matter. The KPIs, the key performance indicators or the ratios will remain the same. So which are the ratios that you will use for the purpose of doing profitability analysis from the perspective of capital provider? Number one, obvious, is the return on equity. So how would you calculate the return on equity? Obviously, you will take the profit after tax and divide it by the net worth. In case if the company is having preference share capital, then you will need to modify this formula a little. And how would you modify it? So what you would do is from the profit after tax, you will minus the amount of the preference dividend that you have to pay, and in the denominator, from the net worth or from the equity, you will minus the amount of the share capital, and that will give you the return on equity. Obviously, higher the amount of return on equity, better it is. So this is how the number one KPI, that is return on equity. Number two, what you calculate is a ROCE, a return on capital employed. And how do you calculate return on capital employed? And that is where all of you need to really pay a good amount of attention, because in my experience of delivering my training programs in more than 50 locations across the globe, I have seen invariably there is a huge confusion in the minds of the people when it comes to the computation of return on capital employed, ROCE. So how do you calculate return on capital employed? Now, before we talk about how to calculate return on capital employed, we need to understand as to what does the return on capital employed tells us. Okay, let me ask all of you. Please, all of you, give me. You can just tell me when you want to calculate the return on capital employed, what do you think should come in the numerator? All of you.
Share capital.
No, I'm saying in the numerator. What will you keep in the numerator for the purpose of calculating return on capital employed? Like I told you.
Dividends.
Earnings, profits.
Uh-huh. Okay, let me ask you another question before coming to this question. What do you think return on capital employed tells you? What does it indicate?
The profit which we are earning,
Mm-hmm.
our earnings on the capital which we have employed, which we are invested in the company.
Okay, very good. So very good, very nice, very nice. So how will you? So what will you keep in the numerator, and what will you keep in the denominator?
Earnings in the numerator.
Earnings. So when you say earning, see, EBITDA is earning, EBIT is earning, EBT is earning, EAT is also earning. So all of them are earning. So which of these earnings you will keep in the numerator?
EBITDA.
EBITDA, for the purpose of calculating return on capital employed. Okay. And what will you keep in the denominator?
Capital employed.
Yeah, capital employed. But what is capital employed?
That my share capital plus preference shares, net worth of the company.
Okay.
Otherwise,
So is net worth of the company, is that capital employed?
I think if we have to take capital employed, we have to take long-term loans also into it.
Okay.
And only we can earning before income, earning before interest and taxes on the top.
Uh-huh.
So then the equation will fit. If it is to be taken on the net worth of the company, then it is profit after tax.
Uh-huh.
That will be return.
Okay, so because if you say that, then it is no longer return on capital employed, then it becomes return on equity that we have discussed already. And
Correct. So capital employed, you have to add the short-term borrowings, long-term borrowings, and the equity or preferential shares added up. That is the employed in the business. And return means you have to take earning before interest and depreciation taxes. That term is.
I see. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, we are listening.
Okay. So, anyone else? Okay. Good. Uh, I think. I hope it doesn't get disconnected. Are you able to see the screen once again?
This is a new one.
Yes, yes.
GIC analysis.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
So you're seeing GIC analysis on your screen.
Correct.
Good.
GIC.
Okay, good. So now, friends, so what is ROCE, return on capital employed? And please pay attention. Number one, let us understand as to what this ratio tells. So this ratio tells as to, as a business, what return I am giving to the people who have given me capital. That is what is return on capital employed. So what is return on capital employed? Return on capital employed is a ratio that tells me that as a business, what return I am giving to the people who have given me capital. So what do I need to take in the numerator? Now, before I decide as to what do I need to take in the numerator, let me first decide as to what do I need to keep in the denominator. And do I need to keep in the denominator? Capital employed. And what is capital employed? Friends, is very simple. What is capital employed? Capital employed is money that you put into the business is capital employed. As simple as that. Money that you bring into the business is capital employed. What money you bring into the business? You bring two sources of money into the business. Number one, you bring equity. Number one, you bring equity, and number two, you bring debt. So what is capital employed? Capital employed is total of your long-term sources. So your equity is a long-term source, and your long-term debt put together is your capital employed. Now, if you have understood this, you will very easily understand as to what should come in the numerator. So what will come in the numerator, friends? It will be profit after tax plus interest on long-term loan. Why? Because in my capital employed, what have I kept? I have kept debt and equity. So if I kept debt and equity in the denominator, that means what will come in my numerator? What will come in my numerator is income profit after tax, which is the return that I have earned for the equity holders, which is the return that I have earned for the people who have given me equity. And I will also keep interest on long-term loans. And why will I keep interest on the long-term loans? Because that is the amount of return that I am giving to the people who have given me the debt loan. So this is how you will calculate, friends, your return on capital employed. Obviously, jitna ye ratio zyada hoga, it is so much better. And at this point in time, I can also mention to you that ROCE is a very critical number that we need to understand as valuer, because it has got a direct relationship with the cost of capital. So on one hand, you have a return on capital employed. On the second hand, you have a SOCE. And what is SOCE? SOCE is cost of capital employed. So when you start a business, anyone across the globe, when they do a business, obviously they do a business by deploying capital. So that capital which you are deploying, on that capital you are incurring a cost. And from that capital, you are earning a return, which is return on capital employed. So ROCE minus SOCE becomes EVA, economic value added. So that is number two from the perspective of the lender, and that is what you need to understand. After the profitability, you need to look at the liquidity. And what is liquidity? Liquidity is short-term solvency. Liquidity is short-term solvency. And for any business to remain viable, for any business to remain functional, for any business to remain operational, this business has to have a very good liquidity. How do I find my liquidity? I will find out my liquidity. अब देखिए यहाँ भी ध्यान से सुनिए. Most books or most people would think that the indicator of liquidity is the current ratio, and which I can tell you is a misnomer. I can tell you which is a misnomer. Current ratio gives you an idea. Current ratio gives you an idea, but current ratio is, really speaking, is not the true indicator of liquidity of a business. What is the true indicator of liquidity of a business? A business which is profitable. A business which is profitable, and a business which is not only profitable but also managing its working capital efficiently. That is the indicator of liquidity for any business. So, current ratio, how would you calculate? Current assets divided by the current liabilities. And there is a variation of current ratio which is known as quick ratio. And how do we calculate quick ratio? Current assets minus the inventories divided by the current liabilities. And why do we minus the inventories? Because inventories are not as liquid as your cash in bank obviously is, as your receivables are. And therefore, just to get a better handle on liquidity position of a business, we calculate another ratio which is your quick ratio. So you look at the profitability, you look at the liquidity, then you look at the solvency. Solvency, how do we calculate? Total of your current assets and the non-current assets divided by the total of current liabilities and the non-current liabilities. And if that number is more than 1, that means this business is solvent. If that number is less than 1, that means this business is not solvent. This business is heading towards the insolvency. So after the profitability, liquidity and solvency, then the third ratio that you calculate is your efficiency ratios. And what is the meaning of efficiency ratios? And I'm sure you can understand, जब आप किसी कंपनी का वैल्यूएशन कर रहे हैं तो एक चीज़ जो आपको नोटिस करना बहुत ज़रूरी है कि ये कंपनी, how this company is using its resources efficiently. So for that purpose, you will calculate the efficiency ratios. And there are many ways of calculating efficiency ratios. These are also known as turnover ratios or activity ratio. So what you can do is sales divided by the fixed assets, or sales divided by the current assets, or sales divided by the total assets. So this is how you will find out the efficiency. तो अगर ये नंबर, अगर आप एक टर्नओवर रेशियो कैलकुलेट करते हैं, and if you see over last 3 years this number is improving, that means this company is improving in efficiency. That means this company is able to generate more sales with the same amount of assets, and that is your efficiency ratio. You will also need to calculate the working capital ratio. So how efficient the business is in using the working capital. And please remember, for all of us, for we valuation professional and the finance professionals in general, working capital always has to be a focal area. Because दुनिया में देखा है कि जब भी कोई बिजनेस बंद होता है, the reason as to why the business closes because of the bad working capital management. And the businesses across the globe, when they turn around, the reason behind the turnaround again is efficient working capital management. So how would you find out the working capital efficiency? So number one, you talk in terms of number of days of inventory it is carrying, number of days of receivables it is carrying, number of days of payable it is having. So that is one way of calculating is your working capital efficiency. And second, again, you can also calculate the turnover ratios. So sales divided by inventory, sales divided by receivables, sales divided by cash and bank balance will again give you an idea as to how efficiently the business is using the assets. And very simple, जितना efficiently आप आपकी assets को use करेंगे, so much value the business will get. So after the efficiency ratios, then you come to financial leverage. So what is financial leverage? It's an indicator of the financial risk of a business. So if a company is having too much of debt, and that means this company will have too much of interest cost, and interest cost, as we all understand, is a fixed cost. And since it is a fixed cost, in case of any downturn in the business, because of the interest cost being very high, the entire company's existence may come into trouble. So this is how you calculate the financial leverage ratio. This is also known as financial leverage ratio, and you will calculate it by number of ratios are there. And to give you an idea, one is debt equity ratio. So you take your debt divided by equity, and that will give you an idea as to how leveraged this company is. So if a company is highly leveraged and if the EBITDA is weak, please pay attention. If company is highly leveraged, that means company has got too much of borrowing, and at the same time the EBITDA is also weak. In that case, this company is going to be in trouble sooner than later. But if EBITDA is strong and debt equity ratio is high, then there is no problem. And why there is no problem? Because debt equity ratio is high, but the EBITDA is strong enough to withstand the load of high debt equity ratio, so which is perfectly okay. If debt equity ratio is low and EBITDA is high, that means this business has got tremendous potential. And why this business has got tremendous potential? Because इसकी EBITDA बहुत strong है और इसका debt equity ratio कम है. That means what this company can do, since the EBITDA is strong, that means obviously the profit margins are good. If the profit margins are good, that means the company's sales is good, company's demand potential is good, that and if the debt equity ratio is low, that means this company can borrow. That means without putting any more money from its own kitty, this company can borrow and undertake growth and expansion program, so which is a good sign. So this is how, these are the ratios that you would invariably look at for the historical analysis and for also for the futuristic analysis. In case if you have any question, you can please ask me, else we will move to the next topic. Anyone? Any question, please?